Hello everybody! We're back with DTM in the 2025 Mini Series. It is round 3 at Monza, the Temple of Speed. So, yeah, another exciting round in the DTM Series Group 3 machinery for the drivers available as close as it can get to the real-life brands and the car models. You know, we don't have the latest car models in the game in Gran Turismo, so we'll do our best to replicate it. So yeah, getting rid of that one. Let's see the lobby. Oh, 2 minutes away from the start of the qualifying session. As always, it will be a 10-minute session for the qualifying, then a 60-minute race. Race will have a formation lap, manual formation lap with a double file start to it, and a mandatory pit stop window to change your tires. That's all you need to know probably for this one. Championship so far, Sluxy with 2 wins out of the first 2 races. Equinox in P2 with 2 podium so far. And with that being said, informing the drivers that we are switching to quali settings now. For the qualifying itself, it is not a full tank of fuel, so probably see that. So we have like late morning, we have still sunny conditions here at the track, and it will be 25 liters initial fuel, 10 minutes, 2 minutes overrun, and times 1 the tire wear and fuel consumption. So we are starting this session soon. This thing here. See, not everyone is ticked in yet. Need to wait for Weber and Anovich. To tick in, and then we can get the session underway. And it's always one driver that doesn't tick in. Here we go. We're good to go. So let's start the qualifying session, shall we? Hope the drivers are ready. I'm ready. And here we go. Jump into the spectate mode now. Let's go. 10 minutes at Monza, starting now. No surprise to see the drivers coming out on the racing soft tires. Also would expect them to use softs for the race. Monza not very harsh on the tires usually. Take a little bit through our grid today. A couple of new faces as well on our grid. 14 travels in total, and happy to see a fuller grid, definitely, and also happy to see a Lamborghini running in that season. Test as a reserve today. Right, so Slugsy in that BMW M6 neighbor is using the AMG GT3 SRT in one of the Ford Mustangs, Equinox in an Audi R8, Blasi in that second Ford Mustang, Stu then running a McLaren 650S, Eco another 650S, Rick in that Ferrari, Webern, one of the Porsche drivers today, Taz in that Lamborghini Huracan, the Husky in the second Audi R8, Ovich the second BMW, Evoque in the third McLaren, and Nick in the Porsche 911. Alright, Slugsy already on the lap, let's jump on board. Already heading into the first chicane. Now accelerating out into the Curva Grande with his flat out in GT3 machineries. Oh, second chicane, the Della Rocha chicane, just roughly at 100. And then a chicane where you can get track limits. If you cut too much on the inside, that looked okay. 50 board, check it in for the first of the Lesmos. Accelerate out, don't run too wide, that was a bit too wide for Slugsy. And just before the 50 again, second Lesmo. And the run towards Ascari. So that won't be the fastest lap, pretty sure. Nearly ran wide, warming up the tires still, braking for Ascari still. Into the left, right, taking a little bit easy. Still okay, bit of a lift through that exit chicane. You probably want to do the lift before and maximize the exit speed. Nevertheless, we run towards the final turn, Parabolica or Michele Alboreto. Now inside onto the power, and then let's see the pit entry. And he crosses the line with a 150 to start that session with a neighbor with a 50.2. We see Equinox at 49.1, Blasi at 49.2. So that's round about that era, probably mid-high 48s. What are we expecting? Oh, a penalty for the Italian driver. What are the other things? We saw Evoque P4, currently Ovich in 7th, currently in that second BMW, Eco in P8, Webern, Tess, so they're maybe drivers taking it easy on the first or second lap. Still, it's 10 minutes in total, so still some time left in this session, of course, to set your qualifying lap. Slower laps or no laps for the drivers. Nick with a 49 as well, up to P3. Let's get on board with that Ford Mustang with SRT. Well, it should be a powerhouse here, long straights. And that engine shouldn't be like too bad. This car around Monza at least. And a 48.8 for Slugsy, here we go. 48.6 for Equinox. So we're getting closer to those mid 48s. Blasi in third. We stay with SRT for the run into Ascari. Opening up that turn and no lift. Pretty sure he will be improving from P14. Takes a wide line coming out of Parabolica, and it's a 50 to start with, so P8 for now. Just over 3 minutes to go, so 2 more laps for the drivers. So currently we have Equinox with that 148.6 traditional poles, Luxy P2 in his BMW. I see personal best sector 1 and 2 for Sluxy. This could be a new fastest lap during that qualifying session. Just needs to nail that final turn. Looked smooth, so could be a 48.5 maybe incoming. 48.379. Had a good, really good run. The drivers can adjust the downforce, the rear and front in the series. We are using the in-game BoP with the power and the weight, but the aero is adjustable and could be that we see some aero changes after the qualifying for the drivers as well. Let's say it's a very low drag setting usually at Monza. So less than 2 minutes to go. It's the crunch time now for this 10-minute qualifying session. We see an improvement from some of the drivers, SRT up to P6. Whereas the fellow Ford Mustang, half a second to P2, 8/10 to P1. Bit down, but with a good Ascari and a final turn. Maybe a little bit of slip, probably a bit too far behind. No slip out of Neighbor, but looks for Blasi. It's the wait for that final turn. Slugs with a 48.1. He's going faster and faster. Found the rhythm, found the groove. 49.3, so final lap now for the drivers. Equinox got some slipstream now. It's a 48.4. Now, oh, that's handy for Equinox. Gets a tow and no dirty air into Ashiki. Oh, Slugsy spun it. Pushed too hard. It still has roughly 3.5 tenths. The gap to P2. Blasi still in P3. Neighbor in P4. Nick P5. Let's wait for the sector time. We didn't see it. Okay. It was just before the Ascari, I think. So can Nick improve a little bit? Needs 2 tenths roughly to move up 1 position. Very, very narrow line out of. But improve a little bit. Not gained a position so far. So we left Stu is on a lap. He's in P6 currently. 8 tenths down, so we won't be improving on that. What about Equinox? And Blasi finished. Okay, Blasi won't be improving. Let's see if the Audi driver can get pole. Would be a mighty lap. Smooth run out of the Parabolica. Did he carry the speed? It's a 48.5. P2 it is for Equinox, P1 for Sluxy, 3 Blasi for Nick and Stu, P5, P6 SRT, P7 Evoc in P8, Husky 9, Rick in 10th, Taz, P11 Webern in 12th, Ovich P13, and Eco will stay in P14. Right, so then let's wait for that to finish exactly. So let's go to this one. Take the screenshots for the results. We will do a reset. We change the time as well for the race. Then we get round number 3 underway. So what did I just screenshot? Okay, that was okay. Okay. Right. So we end this race and then settings. Tick in, please. Okay, tick in, please. Change the grid. Oh yes, Luxy on pole position, Equinox P2, that's correct. Blasi will start from P3. Neighbor joins him on the second row in 4. Then we have Nick 5, Stu P6, SRT P7 Evoc P8. We have Husky in P9, that's correct. Rick P10, Webern Tess, Webern Ovich, and Eco so is in. So that is fine now. All right. Formation lap. That is 100 miles per hour. Where is my... I still don't remember where are my... This one. kph. Double file? Come on. Double file at the panel. Zone 60. miles per hour, 100 kph. Meter takes inside, right. Race starts at the start line and sorry, hit window with tire change between race minute 20 and 40. T and 40. No mandatory tire. Oops. Again, the keyboard is in the wrong language every time. So here we go. That's all the drivers need to know. And let's get this race started. 60 minutes at Monza, round 3, DTM Mini Series 2025. Let's just say good luck, have a good race, all that stuff. All right, and then we can go. We get the engines revving and we're getting ready for the formation lap. Looks like everyone got up on the line. The chilliest way to do turn number 1 and 2 is the formation lap. Next time round we will be arriving at race speed, and as always, turn 1 Monza, it's a bit of a hit and miss. It can be clean, it can also be total mayhem. So let's see what the racing will look like. Okay, so Tess decided to go onto the medium tires, so that's probably not the fastest way to go round. Doesn't trust the tire wear in that Lamborghini. It looks like the ×1 tire wear. The racing shafts should last at least for 30 minutes here at Monza, so we should be fine. So yeah, mandatory pit stop window, race with the 20 and 40. You have to pit and change tires. Of course, you can pit outside of that window, but it doesn't count towards the mandatory stop the tire change. Alright, and here we go. Going into double file this time. We have a long double file formation, so drivers have enough time to get into that formation, and this looks really nice. And the grid is approaching the start line, so it won't be the finish line. When we see lap 2, we have to wait for a little bit still. And when we see the line, it's green, green, green. Here we go. We see the acceleration and the field is off for turn number 1. Close compact grid heading into turn number 1. Let's close our eyes and hope everything goes well. Blasi with an early attempt around the outside. We see it looks fairly decent. That turn number 1. Alright, Sluxy kept the lead. Blasi P2, Equinox P3, Nick in P4. So, then Roger chicane. Will the drivers behave again? Sluxy, that's looking good. Blasi side by side between Equinox and Nick. They're coming through the chicane. Oh, someone cut the chicane. That was I think a McLaren cut that one. And there's a penalty for Husky. Oh, a bit of a wiggle for Movic, and then he loses the car coming out of Lesmo 1. Oh, let's watch that incident once again. I think they were side by side, a little bit of contact. And then couldn't avoid it. It spins over the grass. Manages to keep that car going, and I think Fury got a reset after cutting that chicane. That's a big gap already. So eventful lap number 1. Sluxy with a 1.3 second gap to Blasi in P2, Equinox in third, and Nick before the neighbor is still there, second. Then it's the first little gap to SRT in P6. We have Evok, Husky, Hendrik. Husky showed his nose, didn't go for the move. He's under pressure now. Rick in that Ferrari, good traction, bit too much traction, nearly rust the rear. Can probably apply some pressure now onto the Bulgarian driver in that Audi R8. We get the run out of Cova Grande. Pulls alongside. No, doesn't go. Goes a bit too deep, maybe into the Della Roger chicane. Keeps the car on track. Weyburn and Tess. P10, P11, Eco 12. Then Ovic in P13 and Stu P14 at the front. Blasi with a half-second penalty, so he will be dropping out of that slipstream range. Yeah, he will be serving that penalty on the back straight this lap. Equinox will get P2. Blasi with a little bit of a slipstream still towards the Parabolica. Nick is still there. Same goes to Neighbother in P5, but on the risk of losing that slipstream, that train now. SRT leading the next group of drivers. Evok had a good run out of the Parabolica. Half a second, the gap. Not close enough to send it into turn 1. For now, it's looks like the positions. Oh, what happened to Husky? Husky down to P13. 201.8. Not sure if it was an off track or a big penalty or even a little reset. Gives Stu someone to race. It's in that slipstream range now, and they go with Blasi. He's chasing down Equinox and Sluxy after the penalty. 1.2, 1.3 seconds. Nick right behind. not really gaining on the straights in that Mustang. So it looks like the other drivers might have found a narrow package with less track that helps them to get away from the forward. It's not the best handling car, of course, that Mustang, but it should have the grunt and the legs on the straight. Nick is staying in that toe. Sluxy versus Equinox 1.5, so Equinox with the fastest lap, trying to get into that slipstream range a bit more. It didn't get the best run out of turn number 2. It's 1.7, and Sluxy, we've seen many times, opening up that gap early in that race, trying to break free, gets a good run, keeps it at 1.6, 1.7 roughly before the last mouse. Another penalty for Blasey. Nick nearly lost the car out of the first Lesmo, touched the gravel, and also has a penalty. Neighbor that runs very wide and exit Lesmo too. Lost contact to the top 4. And also, no, it's SRT with that penalty. So that's opportunity for Evoque to move up into 6th position. 7/10 the gap now. We'll lose roughly a second with that penalty. And around the outside, McLaren up a position for now. The Mustang down to P7 with their toe, might get a nice little run into turn number 1. Let's see, it's still half a second. Not bringing that gap down. Interesting. So Rick staying close. Evoque, SRT, and Rick Wayburn. Oh. Was there a move between Obic and Taz into the first chicane? I saw a positive change there on the timing tower, and yes indeed, like the BMW got past the Lambo. Husky versus Stu. They got past Eco, now 2.3.5 second penalty for the Greek driver. That's a bit unfortunate. Don't want to let those two run away. It looks like a clean lap so far for both Stu and Husky. At the gap to Ovid, 3.6. Taz staying in that slip. Whoa! And that's a big time slip, but that rear stepping out in that Lambo. And just like that, you lose 2 positions. But the damage is not permanent, so it will fix itself after some seconds. Still, that didn't really help to stay with Ovid, of course. Now in P13, 1.6 the gap. Sluxy indeed with the fastest lap on lap number 5, 49.0, and 2.2 seconds for now. Gap. Lastly, after a couple of penalties, the previous laps, now 4 seconds down. Nick just lost that slipstream range. It's nearly 2 seconds. Well, 1 second penalty for Neighbor. It was like a massive cut on the entry of the Delta chicane. Pretty sure if you cut too much, the game will award you with 1 second of a penalty, and that's gonna hurt. It's 3.8 to Evoque for now, 3.6, 3.5, let's say 3.5 roughly. Oh, and SRT ran really wide on the exit of the Ascari. Has still the inside for Parabolica against Rick. Can Rick hang it around the outside, side by side? Whoa! What a move that was. Go back to SRT and the Ascari, the exit. I saw the Ford going really wide on the exit. Whoa! Over the grass. Nearly touches the barrier. Then has probably dirty tires. And Rick with a strong and bold move around the outside at the final turn. Up to P7. For that Mustang, definitely not the easiest car to drive. It's quite heavy and understeery. It's still nice to see that car being represented on the grid, as it is running in real life as well, with that relatively new Ford Mustang GT3. That's the first season in DTM this year, with 2 cars in the series. Not a top runner car, it's still a nice one. And they also entered the Nürburgring 24-hour race last weekend. I think they finished in the top 5 with that car. One of the 3s at least made it, and they finished P5, I think. So yeah, it's a bit of the car. And Gran Turismo knew a GT3 Mustang would be coming, so they had it in the game very early on. Different spec, but as most of our cars are different specs compared to real life. So it's 4 minutes before the pit window will open. Seeing some gaps now between our drivers. We saw that move, Rick versus SRT. Webern 2 seconds over it. Stu, Husky, Taz, and Nico Husky drop behind Stu again. It's so easy to get that penalty. Half a second. Oof. Stu will open up that gap, and can he close that gap to Ovic? Ovic after that lap 1 off track. Just 1.8 seconds behind Webern. Webern not too far behind SRT, who gets a good run this time out of Ascari. Let's go Chase Cam. See the run into Parabolica. Henrik hold it around the outside again. Drake late. Keeps the car on the track. But does he have the legs to stay in front of the long start-finish straight? That Mustang Now he's charging, has to slip. Will pull alongside. They're going side by side into turn number 1. Oh, Rick just manages to keep in front. And oh, Ferrari does Ferrari things. Nearly lost that car. Let's go to SRT. We see that Weber 1.3 just closed that gap. Two cars been fighting. Oh, that understeer is surreal. So the car didn't want to turn at all. Or Lesmo won. Probably has to defend. Now Webern is approaching in his Porsche. That's the front. It's Luxy and Equinox. Equinox keeping that gap roughly at 2 seconds. Blasi 7.5. Was there a mistake somewhere? This lap probably lost 2.5 seconds. Nick is still close. They bit by himself. Evo, Rick and SRT. Wavern, over which they all closed that gap. Stu, Husky, Tess, and Nico. Alright. Pit window open. Now 20 minutes. Drivers can pick their time when they want to visit the pit crew. Just like most of the races, it will be probably at the halfway mark, round about that. A good run for Equinox, 1.6. He might get a little bit of slipstream assist already. Not quite, but it's just a 10th he needs to find and will get a tow. .7, good lap, 49.0. That's not too far off the fastest lap at all. Basically confirming his personal best. It's Luxy with a 49.1. 49.9 for Blasi, opening up that gap to Nick again with a 51. Labor with a 50.6 when he crosses the line, a 50.6 for Evo as well. Nick and SRT is still in a close one. 59 for SRT. Close that gap. It's half a second before braking for turn number 1. Weber and Ovic also joined the party. Ovic nearly lost the rear. Also, it's a BMW thing that turbo kicks in low gears. That rear just wants to step out. Husky in 11th, Stu P12, Tess 13th, and Nico in P14. Started very well and looks like made a couple of mistakes over the last previous laps. It's the first race with the CLR, so maybe also a bit nervous. Who knows? But yeah, still head down, keep it up, and yeah, very clean racing so far for Monza standards, and This time Equinox is willing to stay with Slugsy for a bit longer. For the first 2 rounds, it was like that Slugsy opened up that gap early on. And I think we saw an overtake. Oh, they're going 2 wide, 3 wide into the Parabolica. Did Rick serve a penalty? That lap will stay with the live footage because Ovic is on a mission. Will he get the draft? No, doesn't have the legs by himself, but he's still side by side into turn number 1. Oh, now he gets a bit of clunky. Whoa, a drifting overtake for Rick. Just wanted to have a look what happened. Yeah, 1 second penalty for Rick. That's why he lost that position to SRT, and then also to Webern and Ovic just before the Parabolica. And then, oh, wide. This could be a penalty again. Not sure. It's definitely now gloves off. All those drivers fighting. Got away with it. So SRT with the 2 second gap to Webern, Rick and Ovic. P8, 9 and 10. Slugsy in the meantime gained a second roughly on Equinox. Maybe a penalty involved this time. 50-0 looks like. 59.02.6. Small improvement on that fastest lap for Slugsy. Equinox P2. Lastly in third, nearly 10 seconds down the road. Nick doing a good job staying with Blasey. Just 2.6 seconds in P4. Mayweather comfortably running in P5 in his AMG. Evoque the best of the McLarens in P6, and we saw that battle in the mid-pack SRT after getting past Rick again. It's P7. Oh, and this could be a reset incoming. No, that was unlucky for both of the drivers. That didn't look too good at all. What happened between Ovic and Rick? Let's see. Contact already on the entry, and then lag and some pirouettes going on. That looked a bit messy, to be honest. Jumping over the curbs and forcing a driver into a spin. A second for Rick for now, a half a second for Ovic, but it will come closer together probably towards the end of the race. Stu, maybe he can pick up the pieces after he was the last on that first lap. 12 seconds when we joined him at the end of the lap. We didn't see what happened, but yeah, P11 it is for now. Husky already on fresh soft tires. Taz is also on the soft tires now. It's Eco on his used softs, running with a couple of penalties recently. Slugsy is putting the hammer down. 4 seconds. Suddenly that gap opened up. Is it time to go for an undercut for Equinox? Those 4 seconds give Slugsy definitely some flexibility in his strategy now, so he can react to the drivers behind without taking too many risks, I think. So again, a crazy good last couple of laps for Fluxy. The gap from 1.6 to 4.3 now. We'll be waiting probably for the grid to pit, so doesn't want to come out in traffic. Equinox also staying out. The window is not yet there to come out in clean air after the pit stop, so they're basically waiting for the mid-pack drivers now to get into the pits. It's not happening, at least for the top 5. What about the next drivers? Evo pitting, SRT staying out, Weber on pitting. Okay, this could be now an opportunity for the leaders to pit. Rick is in, Stu staying out. Which went into the pits already. So on the outlap, will he jump Rick? That is the question, Rick. Now changing the tires, which with full speed blasting down the main straight. It's close again, but Ovich with more speed and will get that position for now at least. Husky is on fresh softs as well, close that gap to Rick. The second test, what can he do in the Lambo? 6 seconds roughly to Husky. Oh, and Eco using medium tires. So we're still waiting for the leaders to pit. Sluxy staying out. Position for Equinox. Now it's 5, so he lost too much time over those last 5-6 laps. Still that undercut won't help much. I reckon Blasny faked the pit stop. Nick didn't fall for it and has slipped stream down the line. Equinox also using medium tires. So pretty surprised to see drivers using mediums today. Maybe it's the temperature at Monza that the soft tires are melting away in those conditions. It's very sunny afternoon, like an early summer's day here in Italy. So yeah, the first 2 rounds we didn't see the mediums at all today. It seems to be an option for the drivers, or maybe they're forced to run them. Will we see a move or a pit stop happening? Both are an option now for the drivers. Nick with some serious pace. Currently Sluxy is in, covering the pit stop. Showed his nose for a brief moment. Blasny runs very wide over the curb. He will be going for one more, pretty sure. And Nick doing the same. And it's another set of softs for Sluxy. He got the gap to Blasny and Nick. That was perfect timing. Come out in clean air. So what are the lap times on the mediums we like? Brother is in. The SRT on the softs, fresh softs. Evoque also on fresh softs. Then so jump them during the pit stop phase. P6 it is for now for SRT Evoque in P7. Ooh, both with a bit of a slide coming out of turn number 1. Webern in P8. Ovic in 9th. Stu got past Rick now as well, who seems to be struggling now with his pace and consistency. This gives the Husky an opportunity. Half a second before the second chicane. And Rick jumping over the curbs, touching the gravel. He's feeling the pressure, pretty sure. Don't think Husky wants to go for the move before it's Kari. Driving a little bit of offline and then maybe get a good run out of it. Yep, that's it. Too good, maybe. Oh! Yeah, the run was just too good for Husky. We saw that Rick can drag late for the final turn. She might be vulnerable down the straight now. Slipstream now really helping Husky in his Audi. On the inside again, late for Rick on the outside. So last of the late drinkers, Rick, so he defends that position. And now slugs up at the pit stop, and just 4 minutes to go before that pit window closes. So it's still Blasey and Nick that need to perform their pit stop with the tire change. Will it be this lap? Not for Blasey. Not for Nick. Okay, so they're going high risk here. If you don't pit and change tires within that window, you will get disqualified from that race. So I hope they have the time, like, visible to them, and they know it. Play it safe. I would pit this lap. Everyone else, they are running on fresh tires. Yep, that is fine. Husky versus Rick. This time Husky with the advantage goes deep into the first chicane. And opportunity for Rick to get that position back. Tess trying to tame that Lamborghini. Eco before in that third McLaren 650S. So 2 minutes 20. So they could still go for one more if they want to really extend it. Play it safe. Pit now. Blasey into the pits. What about Nick? Also pitting. So now they just need to change the tires and we are good. So this gives us a gap between Sluxy and Equinox, 8.3 seconds now. So Nick and Blasi should keep their positions. Fresh softs for Blasi, fresh softs for Nick as well. Labor close that gap to Nick, under 3 seconds now. Closer to 2, coming out of the first chicane. That wasn't the best run for Ney. Evo versus SRT once again. They are swapping positions into the first chicane that was. Let's have a quick look at the replay. Oh, it's Evoque hanging around the outside. A little bit of contact, but okay. Fair and square. And then we can just roll with the replay once again. SRT returned the favor around Kuma Grande inside. And this time it will be the outside line for the Mustang. No, he got his nose just in front of the chicane. But, oh, that looked like a weird leg spike. For a brief moment, jumped the chicane, but it was just a desync. Maybe that's why it's a bit tough for Evoque as well to judge where the Mustang driver is. It's still a close battle between those two. P6, P7, Ford versus McLaren. Which right behind Wayburn. Stu also joins the party, where it's rigged 5 seconds and 1.22 Husky. So let's go with the three-way battle for positions 8, 9 and 10. Porsche, BMW and McLaren on track, which with a good run has to pull alongside very early. Oh, gets a little bit of a bump drop from the McLaren driver. Will they go 3 wide into turn number 1? No! It looks like which got it done before. Can he stop it as well? Because Kenny too fast. He gets a reset. No! Wayburn, also there was a mistake happening somewhere. What happened to our drivers here? Oh, we need to get to the replay. Looked like that. Wayburn's car went very slow suddenly. He waited for Ovic. He hit him before the chicane, and then he is waiting to get back onto the track safely. Okay, it was very close between the drivers, so that's why Wayburn down to P11, Husky 10th, Rick P9, Ovic in 8th, lost the time, but gained that position in the end, probably P8. Ovic. Evoque versus SRT is not a battle at the moment. 5.7 now. 52 the last lap and another 55. Okay, that something happened and off track. It's heating up now on the track. Maybe that gap to Nick is tempting, less than a second, but that a penalty, not so much. That gap between Nick and Blasi suddenly 5 seconds as well. Blasi is now pushing on his second stint. It's 12 seconds to Equinox and another 12 seconds to Slugsy, who casually improved that fastest lap of the race, a 48.6 on lap 21. It's a 48.603, went even faster. Equinox in P2 on the medium tires. Still don't know if this was a mistake from at least the spectate mode. It looked like those softs were looking kinda okay before the pit stop. Yeah. We'll find out maybe later in the Discord chat. So what went through the minds of the drivers. This could get interesting. Nick versus Nay Bother. The second. Porsche versus Mercedes AMG. It's just over 15 minutes to go. Then in P6, Ashatif got himself a little bit of a gap. Now to Evok. Which 5 seconds can he bring that gap down? Let's have a look at the lap times. Evok with 52, 55, lap 21, 22 at 50.9. 52 for Ovic. He probably needs to find half a second to a second per lap. Get into striking distance. Husky then in P9 in the Audi R8. Rick in 10th position. 56 last time round. So a couple of mistakes this time round for the Australian driver. And TCR battle, Weyburn versus Stu, Porsche versus McLaren. Less than 4/10 before the finish line with 3, even so can Weyburn defend that position? Still has the inside. And Stu with a clean move. Well played, both drivers. Weyburn with the better run out of turn 2. Oh, it's not done. By to turn the favor into the second chicane. Showing his nose inside. Will he brake late? Oh, he does. He brakes too late though, and gets another reset. No, he tried it, but that was way too late to go for a move. He dropped now for the Finnish driver pass in P13. Can he challenge Weyburn for that position? Just 4 seconds. What happened between Nay and Nick? 3 seconds now. Oh, Nick with some personal bests. 49s and Nay with a 51.7. Oh, that looked like a penalty or a little off track as well. Mr. DTM Slugsy, like total control of this race as well. It looks like it will be 3 in a row for Slugsy and the BMW. 16 seconds. That gap now. Fastest lap as well, 48.3. Blasi, where is Blasi? P5. I see some damage on the rear. Can we see what happened? Oh, he has front and rear damage. Probably a big off at the last mode. 2, I reckon. It's down to P5. Suddenly he was running in P3. Very comfortably on the lap. Yeah, it's a 2:03 for Blasi. That was a big off, probably. Oh, looks like a Porsche will have a very valid chance to finish on the podium. Nick Leibother, that gap now stays between 2.5. Bit of a shaky run for Nick. Really did a chicane the exit. Down to 1.8. Goes a bit wide on the exit of Lesmo 1. And losing some momentum. Here comes the AMG. Just think gets a little bit of a toe. That Ascari didn't look too good at entry. Oh, yep. Here comes the penalty once again. Lost a little bit of time and you get a penalty on top. The game says thank you for nothing. Only SRT now in P5. Best of the Ford Mustang drivers. Blasi with a, looks like another mistake. Another 2-minute plus lap time. Oh, it's going from bad to worse at the moment. Okay. Under pressure. Ebook. Which 4 seconds. He gained a little bit as well. You see the timer, 8 minutes to go in this race. Couple of positions still like up for grabs. Husky Hendrick, P9, P10, a second. This separates those two. Stu got away from Webern, and Taz had a moment, a 2:07 in the Lambo, so cannot probably challenge Webern for position. Eco in P14 still keeps on going. Slugsy Equinox, that seems to be all settled. Nick and Nay with that, after serving that penalty, 4 seconds. Now the gap was 2.2. It's also a bit of an up and down for No drivers. Can Blasi win the battle of the Mustangs? He got himself back into some kind of rhythm. 50.251 for Evoque and a 49.9 for Rovic. Under 3 seconds. This could get interesting as well. A second penalty for Evoque. That will bring down that gap between him and Rovic. Again, under 2 seconds if like both keep the car on track, of course. This might be an opportunity then. Rovic in the BMW M6. .5 gets a good run out of the Lesmos. And Evoque is struggling. 2.2. Which will be right behind the McLaren driver when we start the next lap. See, 2.5 will come down to roughly a second, I reckon. Less than a second even. Which doesn't want to have the tow yet. Maybe it was a bit too late, so he just waits for another opportunity. Six attempts at that gap. Okay, have a look at Blasi. 2.7. The gap to SRT. This is also not over yet, with just over 4 minutes to go. Was a nice Lesmo 1. What about Lesmo 2? A little bit of a wiggle. The same for Rovic. So still under a second. Rovic losing a little bit of time now. Nice exit for Evoque. Should be safe to keep that position. But now let's have a look at the time. It's 3 minutes and probably a couple of seconds when they cross the line, so 2 more laps to go for Evoque and Rovic. Less than a second separating P7 and P8. Sloxy now into cruise mode, but it looks Equinox a solid P2 again. Nick that P3 as well, 5 seconds. The gap to May with 12 seconds to SRT, and SRT versus Blasi. Battle of the ports. It's happening. Blasi is pushing. Will be 1 more lap for those two when they cross the line. Both a bit wide with Lesmo 1. Blasi should get the tow now to run towards Escari 710. Less than 7.6 before Scary. Okay run, not the best, still stays in that toe. You see Sluxy on the penultimate lap, Equinox as well. Nick on the final lap, I reckon, may as well starting this his final lap. So it's less than 6/10 between the two Fords when they start their final lap of round number 3. Getting closer and closer. 3.5 for 10 into turn number 1. A smooth chicane for Blasi brings that gap down to 3/10. Which got past Evok. Alright, we didn't see that, but let's see. We see the move, Blasi inside and gets that move done, so up to P5 for Blasi. We wait for Sluxy, will come around Parabolica for the penultimate time and starts the final lap of the race. Equinox 18 seconds behind. Will he get that extra lap as well? Yep, should be okay. So top 2. And it will be Nick who sees the checkered flag and gets a podium finish in the Porsche 911 in his first race in the DTM series. Well done, Nick, for the podium. They bother with a solid P4 for AMG. Blasi kept that position and best of the Mustangs. P5 SRT on his debut in P6. Ovich P7 in the BMW. Made a move on that final lap versus Evok in P8. Rick versus Stu. It's close still. Can Rick hold it? Yeah. So Rick with P9. Stu in 10th position. Husky versus Weber in P11, P12. Also a close finish. Husky keeps that position. Weber in P12. Tess in P13. Eco will finish that race in P14. And here is Sluxy, crosses the line and wins round number 3. Equinox with another P2 in that series. Eco on his debut P14. Right. Stupid penalties here. Yeah, that's probably the story of that race for you. Too many of those penalties, I reckon. So, alright. On a save replay. Screenshot the race results. And then let's have a look at the race results. Sluxy, total domination, pole position, victory, fastest lap of the race. Equinox P2 in the Audi, P3 of last of the podium finishers, Nick in that Porsche, then P4, Neighbor in the Mercedes AMG, Blasi. For 2 laps in a row with mistakes and damage, P5. For the Italian driver in that Mustang, P6 for SRT in that second Mustang. Ovich with one of his best results in DTM, P7, was involved in a couple of incidents. So let's see if drivers will sort that after the race themselves. Evok P8, McLaren driver of the day. Rick in the Ferrari P9, also involved in many battles and some of the incidents. Stu and P10. Decent compact drive, I'd say, after that first lap where he was dead last. Husky, also a couple of mistakes. 11 for the Audi driver, P12 for Webern in that second Porsche. Then P13 and 14 Taz in the Lambo and Eco in that McLaren. Alright. So let's bring up this one. So this was round 3 at Monza. Next week we'll be heading over to Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps, for round number 4. One of the tracks that has rain in the settings, and yeah, we don't know. We keep an eye on the RL forecast as always in DTM. After 3 very dry races, I would personally love to see a little bit of rain drama for Spa next week. But we will see. We're having summertime and maybe we just have lovely weather throughout this entire DTM Mini Series. We'll see, yeah. And then for the final 2 rounds it will be Barcelona and the Nürburgring, the GP layout. So that's it from my side. Thank you all for watching. Yeah. We'll be back next week. Take care. Love you all, UPKA. Bye bye.